All right. Any latecomers agree with the terms anyway. Is that still shared? For the Zoom session participants, can you see a browser and the e-learning? Is somebody in Zoom right now? Marvish, are you in Zoom? Can you see this screen? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so we can see.
Thank you. Yeah, all your feedback is all right. Let's get started. Thank you for the immense interest this seminar seems to have, just like acquired. Quick introduction from my side. My name is Hannes Tegelbeckers. I'm currently writing my PhD with the help of the quantitative methodology. So I'm deeply invested in the topic, and I thought I'd share something of that knowledge with you. For this session in general, you can join us here as usual on Thursdays, or you can go into Zoom and via the link, which is up on the e-learning platform. If you use the link, please try to use your camera. Okay, so there is some kind of interaction possibility. What else? A quick introduction, then I go into where I want to lead this seminar into. My name is Hannes Tegelbeckers. I am a PhD candidate under Professor Böning. My topic is structural equation models, and basically I'm looking at variables of behavioral variables, but also variables like psychological variables of parents and how that might shape the decision making in their kids regarding their choices, their professional orientation. Okay, so I'm having a structural equation model, and basically this is one of the that comes after the ANOVA. So we've got regression models, so we've got ANOVA, multiple regression models, and then you have structural equation models. So we talking about quite high up there in the ladder. We won't touch on that. If you want to, well, feel welcome. How I would like to shape the seminar, and this is something in the last 2 years, I'm pretty sure a lot of you have heard about the impact of AI, which it had on education, but not just education, on the professional level as well, in jobs, etc. So what I would like to do is I would like to do a very experimental session within this seminar. All right, and usually this is not a democracy at this point. I'm very democratic, but just like you will just have to agree to this. All right. So, but be aware that I am not here necessarily when it comes to the technological aspect. I'm not the person who knows the most. Right. Ideally, we share information and we share how it's working. I give you some hints, I give you some advice, but you also can just like work for your own in specific areas and become the expert, and then you could share that with the group. Right. This is how it works. As well, when I come now into the we're going to start with the introduction, what I expect from you today. Then, because I'm not here next week, we might already touch on some issues for next week, so you can get started, right? In that case, please be aware that I like what in other seminars would be considered as cheating. I want you to experience or like experiment with, right? So we are learning here how we use AI for academic, right? I give you in total four options. Others, but these are the ones I have experience with. And I want you to write with them. Like there will be a lot of homework, which you perceive as a lot of homework. But my hope, and this is like we can then share the experience. My hope is that the quantity I give you is basically replacing your ability to use AI efficiently. And when you can use AI efficiently, the quantity should lessen, right? Then you just are responsible for the quality checks. But we want, in that case, I expect quality, right? I don't want to read false statements, just like made up sources or anything like that. Yeah, I expect from you to be able to either use the right AI, or if you don't use the right AI, check your sources. All right. What else? Your usage of AI. Have any of you coded before? What? Does anyone of you know how code could look like? Has anyone read or read a script? Anything like that? Okay. Then be warned, you will have to touch code in this lecture. And I expect you to. Okay. If you feel that is a burden you struggle the most with, please get in touch. Okay. What I don't want to do is like put a kind of fear into you, just like that this is some technological issue or digital issue you can't overcome. All right. I try to make it as approachable as possible. If you still struggle, either contact me or Mavish or Xavier. All right. You have Mavish and Xavier sitting here. For all of you who don't can't see in Zoom, they are also on the introduction side and on the if you have a look in the main page, you're listed there as well, right? Are you listed in the LSF as well? The you are as well. Okay. Then in general, if you want to um, get grades here, you need to enlist in the LSF. Yeah, so I can give you your grade. For all material, you enlist in the e-learning. Yeah. Furthermore, everybody of you should have received a random invite a week ago or so. Is that true? That you are basically now have access to a specific folder containing your name? Yes. Did it say where it was coming from? Did it show that I was responsible for that? Okay, very good, very good. In that case, it's not such a mystery at all. Fantastic. So this folder contained already a pre-structure. Okay, I will go through that pre-structure with you. What I expect from you, and that's there's a reason behind this. I cannot make you sit here for 90 minutes and listen to me. Okay, and that is absolutely okay. You can teach yourself in whatever kind of manner you see fit. But what I need to do to make it equal for everybody, I need to check that you are in line with the progress and that you just like know everything or like do everything everybody else is doing. So I expect weekly homeworks from you. AI generated, that's cool. Just like pre-quality check, right? And the third part is try already to look into your own probably master thesis. Okay, what I want you to do is don't work too much with the examples we give you, but work already on a topic which has your master thesis entrailed. Okay, ideally, after this you already have 15 pages written of your thesis. Yeah, a complete study outline to see if you want to go into quantitative. And if you don't want to go into quantitative, that's already like pre-research where you could go for qualitative research. Okay, so whatever you do, you could make this count already for your thesis. Yeah, try to use that time if possible. All right. Start. Just for the background, as I'm trying you to get AI knowledge, I took the liberty to learn on this course as well. I'm using Lia script, which is a markdown language. So basically, I code my whole presentation instead of putting it into PowerPoint. There still could be mistakes. Please forgive me for that. It's just like I'm trying my best to double check with the coding, but it is hideous at this moment, right? I'm trying to make it work. It should be readable. Yes, but there's could be still some kind of formatting mistakes. You might have to undo. Okay, so you have Sabir's name and Mari's name here already. Me as the responsible teacher, we're gonna go course overview. We have a weekly seminar in English. I'm teaching you a basic understanding of research methods. We don't go too much into them. The point here, and again, I will come to this a lot today maybe, is like your first access point right now should always be an II. And I'm not trying to give you like say like don't talk to me or anything like that. If you have some a legitimate question, and there are no wrong questions, don't get me wrong, right? But the ability we have, right? I'm gonna give you Claude AI, which is basically a 6 semester informatics student at your side, day and night, to help you code, right? This is knowledge you have. You don't have to wait for an email from me or anything else here. It's there. Use that AI. If you have general questions of how you could shape something, use ChatGPT for discussion. Fantastic. Okay, just go back and forth, see like if an idea is running or not. Right. So use that AI first. If you have a specific question on a research method or something like that, use Perplexity. We come to that later. Use Perplexity and ask that specific question. And if you need a discussion on that, go back to ChatGPT. Use the AI options you have available, because that is the things you will have to use in your future. Right. Okay. So we're going to go through a basic understanding, but if you need a more in-depth understanding on particular issues, you can ask the AI to do so, to give you a better overview. The tools we're using is RStudio. So RStudio gives us the advantage. It's open source. It's free. You don't have to pay anything, and it's script-based. Again, the coding issue comes into hand. Yeah? And it gives you the complete freedom like SPSS does for quantitative analysis. Plus, where SPSS stops, for example, equation modeling, structural equation modeling, R has all these solutions already at hand, right, on code base. So I'm giving you a tool which can be very powerful if you use it correctly. We're trying to get into an online survey as well. That's the next thing you will do, because, and I'm offering this to you as well. What I'm planning to do is just like to get a hands on how you perceive AI after this course. But maybe, and I think that could be a good way to go. What I would do for you is just like I would give you your own data, the data you create right now, to play around with, and like anonymously, obviously, right? So if any personal data you will basically put in right now, I will delete, and I give you your own data to play with in R. Okay. If you don't find any other data set you want to play around with for your master thesis, okay, this is an offer I would give to you. Yeah, and that is basically your choice. There should be now, anybody of you who has a mobile phone can either scan now the QR code, or you go into the e-learning, and then you've got here an AI questionnaire or another QR code. And I think it should take you about 5 minutes. So please fill out that questionnaire. It's the first time you fill it out. Please remember that. There will be a second time you fill it out at the end of the seminar in January. If you make mistakes, it would be a fantastic option to eradicate missing data and non-missing data. So just please, if you make a mistake, like at the beginning or something like that, please reload the data. Okay, close close the window and reload it, so we can just like make decisions on missing data um, entries later in the course if it should happen. So. Yeah, the H I just deleted it. That was intentional. But Sabir, good checking. Yes, was for me a bit too put. Like it's not needed, and we come back to that. If you don't need data, don't gather it. No, 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 don't tell him off. If I want to tell him off, I do so. Yeah, but how do you ensure that they remember those codes? What is in guest ID? How are they structured? Can you show me a guest ID? Were you able to? Now it looks like I'm checking IDs.
Hello, I just joined. Can someone help me with the uh, with what's going on?
just just give me a second. Okay, those with a guest ID use the month and the last two digits of their birth year. Okay, so month like March would be '03, and then birth year 90 would be 90, obviously, right? December 12, and just together, no points, etc. We are right now creating a data set we're going to look at during this course and for evaluation. So there is a QR code to go to the questionnaire, and there, as well as the AI questionnaire, there is a link on the e-learning platform. You can click directly if you want to do it via um, via PC. Does that answer the question?
Yes, I think so. Let me just try.
Yep.
It says that I have to use Claude.
That you have to use what? Claude.
One moment.
Yeah. Khalid, you can try to just use the QR code. Actually there should be a straight link to the questionnaire. Fantastic. It has different codes, yeah? Yeah, it definitely has different codes. Yeah, it should. They disagree, obviously. If one disagree, we change the scale after. They can change the scale afterwards. And for now, we hope to assume that it's going with the flow. Right.
Yes, I have access to the questionnaire, so I just fill it up.
Yeah, just please put it in. Um, should take you 5 minutes, hopefully. If you
Perfect.
if you have a guest ID, or do you have an enrollment number?
My matriculation number?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All good. Dan, go ahead. Thank you. You may raise any questions. Okay, so the month. So whenever you move on, like March 03, and then the last two digits of the year you move on. So 1990. Last two digits of the year. Because you have to fill in all the other. Just one? Okay.
The questionnaire is done.
Okay. As this data is quite important for the analysis, I'll give you 1 more minute for all those who haven't finished. Try to answer as truthful as possible to see if we can see any changes when you have our post test. All right. I will continue now. If you won't manage to finish it now, you might be able to get back to the questionnaire later, or start a questionnaire from a new. Whatever you do, please make sure that you answer all the questions until you finish. But regardless, what I'm saying right now is in the presentation, so you will have the data, and I'm gonna upload the video as well, so you will be able to listen to the recording as well. All right. So, what do I expect of you? I said it already. So we have weekly homeworks containing R scripts only if we're working with R, obviously, right? If there's no R environment we're working on, you don't need R scripts. And then we have topic-specific tasks, and that means that these are the tasks which we discuss in seminar, and then you use basically AI and the prompts to upload, and just like that's basically your task to fulfill and to get them out. Creating breakdown, so 30% of your mark will be code and output creation. 30% would be code and data interpretation. And with output creation, I mean just like graphs or any kind of like if you want to do distributions or how correct are your tables, etc. That's what I consider output creation from the code. Code and data interpretation.
Excuse me, Professor.
Yes.
We need some more time to complete those questionnaire.
Can you do that later, please? I know.
Now?
Come again?
Professor, I need some more time to complete those questionnaire.
I understood that. So like you can get back to that questionnaire in 45 minutes. It should be possible.
Yeah.
Is that
Okay.
okay? Because we can't like wait for the latecomers right now. We have to press on because we've got quite a bit to talk about. Sorry.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you for your understanding. Um, okay. Prompt development, 20%. You will have to upload prompts which you're using in the different AIs. You don't have to upload all the prompts, but just like the ones where you consider yourself developing in your prompting, okay? Where I could see that there is something where the quality of your prompt, and we talk about the quality of prompt later, but where the quality of your prompt is improving. And I mean, you will see with the answers you get from the AI that your prompting will evolve, right? So like this is basically something you will experience yourself, but this is something I will check as well. And then you will have a final paper, okay? All the weekly homeworks lead to one final paper, right? You can add all these things up. There is no such thing as just like double hand in here, right? If you create 2 pages, which are more or less like on a topic, and you can recycle that topic for your final paper, do that. Okay. If you need to shorten it, use ChatGPT, shorten me that paragraph or whatever, do it. Recycle your own stuff. Don't reinvent the wheel. All right. But still, the final paper, I come to that later as well. This has to be of upper quality. That's what I expect, right? All the homework stuff, I expect you to try to work out stuff, how it's working. But the final paper needs to be of a quality, like as part of a master thesis on this level. All right, this is what I would expect. All right, I left it in there because this is a beautiful way to demonstrate you in a quantitative methodology course of how you can present data in a complete nonsensical way. Try to interpret this graph. It's absolutely bogus. There's no, like, you've got some random dates there. The y-axis has completely no meaning. There are some random numbers, could be months whatsoever, but it's a beautiful scope, right? It's beautiful. It looks like really, really. The only thing this is showing you is the weeks we have together, and then you see that it's just a number going up, and what we're going to discuss in those weeks. All right. In more detail, course introduction, AI prompting basis in RStudio introduction. I'll try to run you through today. Okay, because we have it on video, I encourage you to watch the video later. And I present you with 2 more PowerPoint slides where all the things are detailed. Like there are detailed instructions for prompting. There are very detailed instructions to get R code running and an RStudio setup. So you have more time to actually do these things to be ready. Okay, week 2 is basically like we skip week 2 because I'm next week away. So you work on your own. Week 3 is research design fundamentals, so defining research questions, literature review, hypothesis formulation, and citation management. Research design and methods in week 4, research design types, sampling methods, questionnaire standardization, question validation. We go into December, week 5, questionnaire development, online questionnaire creation, platform usage, data collection, ethics, and survey distribution strategies. Week 6 is data management, data cleaning and correction. That's where our data then comes in, right? Working with MPCars and SDG data as an example. These are only example data we can have a look at, right? I'm absolutely open. If you, I did that with Georgian students as well. If you have a data set, which is spot on, very interesting, and you say like, drop the SDG data. I've got a data set from my country or from my line of work where we could have a field day, just like working this stuff out. Then send that data set to me if you're okay that everybody's working with it, and we have a look at that data set, right? Again, here, empty cars is an R, basically is an R example data set. We can use different kind of data sets, right? And SDG data is external. We can have, again, here other like example data sets if you are interested or you have an idea of what you want to look at, because that makes more sense if you develop your coding, your scripts in R, and you have already something you want to work on specifically. It makes more sense, right, to create the graphs, to look at distributions, etc. Then week 7, data analysis, descriptive statistics, data visualization, measures of central tendencies, and distribution analysis. Very straightforward. Back in January, week 8, data analysis 2, group comparisons and t-tests, non-parametric tests, and statistical significances. Advanced analysis in week 9, correlation analysis, regression analysis, linear models, and results interpretation. Week 10, statistical testing, ANOVA, normality testing, assumption checking, statistical reporting. And then 11, course wrap-up, semester review, Q&A sessions, etc. The last session would be most likely online, so because I won't be here. But maybe Mavish and Sabir will be here for those who will miss this room or just like have some tendencies to have this conversation. Okay, assessment structure we already went through. As you can see here, there's a code mistake happening. We have the weekly components. Okay, something completely primary conventions. It's gone off now, off the rails. Within your folder, I would like you to maintain a very strict pattern of naming your files and keep order of your files. Okay, so my idea, like I get into this introduction in a second. If we use, like there is a specific file called RStudio project. And this is, if you double click on this one, it will start your whole R environment, RStudio environment, so you can manage your scripts, etc. Which means if I or Mavish or Savir click on an R project in your file or folder structure, and you do as I say, you should maintain your files, then we should be able to recreate your measurements instantly, right? This is the idea. So we can have basically checks on your code within minutes instead of just like looking on different data files. I mean, I had a master student who managed to use R without any kind of files, which was for me at first and very impressive. But try to print your file if you don't have any, right? So we had to look through all her history, and that was a massive history within RStudio to retract the steps. Okay, this is absolutely not working at all. Give me a second. All right, we might switch. Okay, so the other one. So the other, sorry for that. The other presentation went off script a bit. So let's go back to final paper before we come to the structure. The final paper task on the methodology. Use the AI tools. Use them wisely. Comprehensive 15-page research paper with all the AI tools which you have available, but maintain academic rigor. 50 written pages, so all drafts, tables, bibliography, and supplement files should be attached in the back of the file. The prompts, please use an extra PDF. Um, and then you have the documentation of the prompts, like I said, in a different PDF or doc file. They are,
Excuse me, sir.
yes,
I have a question. If you read from the laptop, we can properly hear you. When you see from the backside, we cannot properly hear you.
give me a second.
Let's try this one. Can you hear me better now?
No, it just got worse. There's a lot of echo.
Is this better? One, two, three.
Yeah, this is okay. This is okay.
Okay, it's okay. All right. Bye. Okay. So you've got your documentation all in your files. You've got the final report. The format requirements should be typical 1 by 5 line spacing, right margin 3 centimeters. Citation is APA style, but with page numbers, please. Why I'm doing this is because I want to make sure that you don't run foul of the AI just producing the source, right? So that forces you to double check if the input the AI suggested to you is really on that page. All right, that's the only thing I'm saying. I don't expect you to read, like if the AI gives you out a paper or something like that, to read the full paper. But what I'm expecting of you is to double check if the information you suggested to me in your final paper is there, that I find it there. All right. Okay, you can use it. Like I said already, for your topic selection, choose a topic aligned with the MA thesis. Use the existing literature and define the scope of objectives within this course, and then just like put that together in your final work, right? Like I said, please use that as an opportunity. AI is a tool for you to work with, which is supporting you. You are the expert, all right? It cannot replace you as someone who takes the shots and like says this is correct and this is not, because AI makes mistakes and it makes quite a bit of it, right? So you still have in this process, if you're using AI, and that's where the prompting coming in, you still have to be able to judge, right? The code, you have to judge the prompts. It's like, what's going wrong? Where am I wrong in the communication, either with the AI or just where's the code going wrong? And then you have to be even more specific, right? So please don't try to cut short on this kind of learning experience. That's all I'm asking you, right? So the AI prompts there, and then just like, I want a coherent text with a red line. I expect you, because you are writing MA thesis in the end, to build up a library. I'm putting here Zotero, but you can use Citavi, you can use Mendeley, what have you not, okay? whatever kind of citation software you want, you can use, but I expect you to use a citation software. Why am I doing that? Because you will find out the minute you're used to using one of those softwares, it makes it easier for you in the end to go and create a bibliography. If you have a random text or data point, something like that, ask ChatGPT, ask Claude AI to create you a BibTeX file or an APA style reference or anything like that, and put that directly into your citation software, right? Because in combination, those two will be able to give you a resource, like a source, in a manner which is like correctly formatted. You will only get after hours of work. All right. Just go through the trouble and double check if the information you have as input is correct, right? Okay. You saw the overall criteria, the R code, etc. The 20% of the final paper, they have it has a different criteria protocol for evaluation, and this is coherent text, right? And how you structure your idea. Now I'm checking in this final part that you understood your own research. Like, this is where you check your thoughts. You can use AI to put it down on paper, all good, all cool. But I want to see that you thought it through, and no AI can replace that. Okay? So coherent idea and text. Variable and approaches, exactly the same, goes in line with, just like if you have a question and you want to approach a certain topic, using some variables makes no sense, right? Using other variables makes sense. So I want you to see, like, I want to see you double check and models and variables which make sense in that context, right? Don't take anything random which an AI gave you and just like, well, people did that, so I'm doing that, right? Make it thorough. Reproducibility. This is the one where I said the R project file and all the R files need to be in one line. I need to be able to reproduce what you had in your paper as an evaluation on your data. I need to double click that, go through your files, and have the same graphs or the same output within minutes. Okay, this is what I mean by that. 10% of that mark goes to that. And then citation accuracy, like I said, work with Zotero, work with a citation software, try to use it, and then this shouldn't be a problem. Right. I have one failing criteria, and I take this very personally because I had it too much in the last 1.5 years when people already had access to AI and were never marking it. All right. If I find one source which does not exist, I give you one last chance. But if I find a second source which is completely made up, I tell you here right now that you will fail this course. You are welcome next year, next semester, right? But check your sources. Understood? Yes.
Can you give an example?
An example.
Sir, can you please explain what are the invalid sources?
It's a big thing, I think so.
No, it's yeah. So listen, I had a student where I can see the student used Perplexity AI for answering certain quantitative questions, and Perplexity AI does not give you necessarily academic sources, right? So the student added sources from another AI to the Perplexity reference, and it took me, honestly, just reading that part, I knew that like the source and the text out of my gut feeling. I had no idea what this person was talking about. Not talking about, but just like what specific line there was with this source. And it took me honestly, I picked this source and I picked the next one, and they both were false, because when they were talking about, let's say, missing data, this source never talked about missing data, right? This was a source just like from agriculture or whatever. Just because that person put a false reference under a piece of text to make it more legible.
Okay.
And thought I would not check. Right. And honestly, this pisses me off because you have so much tools available to make it so easy, and please use all those tools. But if you try to cheat on me, that's where, like, intransparent, that's where I'm getting a bit personal. Right. You as well.
And I believe
Yeah.
And I believe anything without authors or any blog or Wikipedia is not really a authentic source of information, correct?
You may use Wikipedia if you want to. I would prefer more academic style. It depends on the topic you're discussing. All right. If it's a broad reference to an introduction, then Wikipedia is fine. If you're discussing cutoff values for structural equation models in a I don't know, maximum likelihood model evaluation, then you're just like, I don't think Wikipedia can give you that specific reference, right? Then I would expect academia references. In general, but like you said, there are, for introduction topics, you can use more light sources, but I expect that you read 2 or 3 sources per point made. Yeah. Always try to remember that what I'm trying to get at is this should be your preparation for your master thesis. Yeah. Try to do like UC academic rigor. Okay. This topic. Where are we here again? Oh yeah. So now we are in we had as already assessment structure. You have your weekly homeworks with a coding breakdown. Now we're going back to file naming. Okay. So use the year, week number, surname, underscore topic plus extension as a general outline. I give you some examples. The R project, for example, 2024. We could be 25, although we don't like, but this is 24, 25 is the year, sorry, for the semester. Your surname, then quantitative methodology, R project. The variable here is only enter here your surname, right? And then I can make the differentiation and everything is standardized, right? Always use these kind of file examples. So for the weekly assignment, you have the week in numbers. I gave you the structure already, week 1, week 2, week 3, right? And then your showman docx. Then the week number, the topic of the week, and your showman for the R file, and for the prompt output as well. Prompt output, you could give me as normal text files, as RTF file, rich text format, if you want in docx as well. That's up to you, right? Just like that was just an example of whatever kind of how you want. In overview, this is what I would expect for weekly homework output, right? And like I said, it looks a lot, but I expect you to just create this in AI, quickly double check, and then just put it down to rest. All right. These are the 4 AIs I'm expecting you to use. You are absolutely free to use any other AI. This is the AIs I have the most experience with. Okay, so general purpose AI, chat and content creation, ChatGPT. There is nothing better than ChatGPT for creating content, just like for good sentencing structure. Yeah, but be careful, ChatGPT makes things up. It creates random things. Even if you give it a straight, this is the document, just copy that document. It creates random input and you're just like, why? Never mind. Use ChatGPT. Claude AI for coding, R, right? Any kind of R code, run it. You can use ChatGPT for an initial code creation, right? And then use R for, use Claude AI to refine your R code. And another tip for the usage of AI, it's token based, right? A lot of you who will not be able to pay for subscription, even if you have a subscription, you are limited. Shorten the amount of conversation you have in one single conversation, because every time, like the longer it gets, the whole AI will always take the whole conversation in context and put it into its system to check, right? And the longer it gets, the more resources you will use from the AI, and the quicker it cuts you out. All right. So, quick question: what is this and this? Get an answer. Maybe refine this answer, and then into a new chat. I have this code. I have this answer. What could I do with it? Right. Use this kind of chat. We come to the other prompting option as well later, which is then mega prompts. Perplexity. If you want an introduction right now at the beginning, master topic or something like that. If you want an introduction which is source based, right? Already giving you some UNESCO outline, or like, I don't know, some framework, political framework or whatever, use perplexity. Okay, say I've got this topic. How could I approach this topic? And then you will get a very, very strict overview of how a topic could be approached, right? And then you want to discuss that topic, use little single items of what Perplexity gave you out and discuss it in ChatGPT, for example, right? Or ask more specifically Perplexity to dive deeper into a specific topic. Consensus AI, if you have, like what I was describing before, if you have a code, if you have a text, and you don't have a source to that, put that the overall meaning of that text into Consensus AI. And Consensus AI has, I think, access to 200 million academic papers, and it will give you out papers which deal with that aspect. And you can be more or less sure that the topic you're trying to discuss is in it. Okay, so you avoid what I'm saying, just like creating false references. It's not foolproof, and it is still can be hideous work. I'm just warning you, right? But I want you to make the experience. Okay. Okay. And we're gonna go through the introduction to prompting today. Be aware that you're using different AI tools for different tasks. And then try to reference the usage of SI as well. All right. So what I'd like you to do is, like, if you say this paragraph has been written with the support of Perplexity AI, right? And I used Consensus AI here, or I wrote a text, or Perplexity wrote a text, and ChatGPT helped me to give it an outline, and then I just edited it, something like that, right? Just a quick footnote: what kind of AI you used for reference purposes. Okay, this is basically, right now I'm going to run through this because this is not really valid for you guys. ChatGPT introduction, then alternatives to ChatGPT, Claude AI introduction, like I said already, code generation, different alternatives to that, Perplexity, again, right? You can have a run through Consensus AI. And this should be all for the introduction day. I'm going to open another presentation right now to get you started with R, just to run you through the presentation so you can deal with it next week and just like click, download it, and get it started, right? Another aspect. All of you have access to the cloud system, right? cloud.ovgu.de. You make your life easier in general until you finish your MA here if you integrate this cloud structure into your computer system, right? So use the Nextcloud application to run it parallel to your Explorer. What I mean by that is to basically if you use the Finder, okay. What you should see is basically every one of you I can see here integrated in my system. I don't have to download every R project from you, right? I can just double click in my system on R project and it's straight running. I don't have to download your file, put it into the right location, and then try to run it. If you do the same, it is much easier for you to work. And this is basically, what is that name called? Sorry for that. I think it's a Nextcloud client called. You can get the check on that from the university computer pool or information center, or you go on the website. Just download that, integrate it to your system. It should work without any problems on all systems you're using. But it would make your weekly uploads in general easier. We're coming to R in a second, but here you already see this is the R project file. And if I double click on this one, it straight goes into this specific file tree. Everything before that it ignores. And this is very important for programs. Like if you have files sitting here, they are completely non-readable. They're not existing. And this always can cause confusions, right? And if you create, for example, graphs or tables or something like that, and there's an extra folder here, then you can declutter your environment and put extra folders here. It will be able to read it, right, and access it. Make your life a bit easier by giving you the opportunity to dive into that and learn from that. Okay.
Hello, sir. Hello. Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Yep.
There's a problem when I try to access the introduction section from the e-learning platform. There's an error message.
You're trying to access this one from the.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I'm aware of that problem. You will have to. I have to fix that one for the introduction presentation. Okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
No worries. Thanks for the understanding. Okay. We're gonna do R now. I give you the prompting introduction file, the PBTX, and the Claude prompt guide. The Claude prompt guide is basically professionally written, and you just run through the experience through the whole file, and you can see how you should develop your prompt. Okay, so this is basically this is straightforward how you improve your prompting. I'll jump ahead. With R, you have your Windows, Mac, and Linux options. You can straight click on the links I provided for you. Please first install R and then install RStudio. Yeah, R is the programming language you use for your data evaluation, and RStudio is the environment to make it more. Well, it makes it nicer for you to work. Okay, it's like a desktop environment we're gonna have a look into in a second. Set up our project. I'm gonna go through that with you in a second. So you just have set up a new go-to file, new project, click on the new directory, new project, browse the directory of your choice or create one, and then basically place your R project there. Like I said, ideally you already implemented the Nextcloud via the Nextcloud client. You got that folder already on your system, and you choose that kind of folder for your R project, and then you should be ready to go from there. Here in this case, you could already, the SDG dataset should be available to all of you via the example folder, or you can download the dataset we're working with later on. All the other example datasets are provided already within R, so you don't need to download that specifically. If it, like for the example datasets, you have options here to transform data files. R is always best to work with if you have CSV data files. Excel data files always need another small package for implementation, and it always can go wrong there, right? So it's always tricky to work with Excel files. Excel has an option to save any kind of data set as CSV file, right? Use that option, try to work with CSV as much as possible. Right. You have a specific environment. On the left, you see all your files or your scripts you can you work with, right? And then here you can see again on this idea that if you give it numbers, etc., there's already a structure you can follow up, like 1, 2, 3, and you can see that. And just double click, and it loads into your into this file management system. You can work here with different files. You can code here. Here's the terminal which executes the files, and here you have the environment where you can see your different kind of variables and sub data sets you create. The nice thing with this kind of setup is if you load an original data set, R is not touching that data set. Okay, so whatever you do, you always have your original data, all right? And you always can load it in and then create whatever you like. And if you destroy your whole data, you always have that backup, yeah, because the CSV file is never touched. Okay. I went through as well. You have different kinds of plots and packages options. How this session is, I mean, we're going to treat it more or less like a workshop. We're going to give you input, okay, and then we work on this kind of input together with examples, and then most of the time I will be here and will be able to help you. Okay, so I know this is a bit overwhelming right now.
It is.
That's why we're recording this as well. But you've got next week, I know, and we'll ease into it, okay? But what I want you to appreciate is the options we have, and we try to do this, like I said, experimental. So it's just stick with it and try to overcome the initial fear of what is this guy talking about. Right. Plus, interestingly, every kind of problem you have in R, you just put it in ChatGPT and say, this problem just popped up. And then I swear to God, it will write you a code finding a solution to that problem. And even if it's just installing some extra packages you had never heard in your life of, it makes sure to do that. All right. So what you have here is you can use this kind of program, which is very strictly script-based, with ChatGPT in conversation, right? SPSS with your front, where you have to click, and much harder to use because it has to describe to you where you need to click, what kind of set. The whole setting thing is automated in this scripts, right? So you have your 4 windows, and that's where you're gonna work with. Right, and then we go from there. I'm gonna quickly go through the other file. Again, I'm sorry, it wasn't planned that I'm leaving next week. So we had this set up, but the Georgians came calling, and I was like, oh well, what am I gonna do? Okay, we skipped this definition. By the way, there's interesting stuff about UNESCO Univoc trying to prepare us for this AI stuff coming since 2021. So have a read in the presentation. The different kinds of AIs. What is the prompt competency? All right, so it's actually a new word existing since 2 years because nobody knew actually what we would call it if we interact with AIs. And this makes it this interesting point for coding, right? If you go in more and more into prompting and then learn to read more and more code, it's just like you see striking similarities in how you structure a good prompt and how a code functions, right? It's very structured, very just like do this first, do this second, this should be the outcome. When you print it, do this, right? There are similarities, but because of ChatGPT and the large language models, it's conversational now. It's not just like I missed a dot, and because of a dot, the whole program is not running, and you're looking for an hour or two where you missed a specific point in your code. You have to provide information to the AI in a clear and targeted manner. That's again, right? The AI is only working with the information you get. If you are very unspecific, it goes off in areas, and to get it back to the point where you want it, very hard, right? Try to be as precise as possible. And then be always aware that you have to use different kind, like you have to overdo it. Use new input as iterations. You have to use iterations here to go back to how the AI is learning and dealing with your requests. Key input details for you would be clarity and definition and purpose of the task, relevant details like specific keywords or something like that, and indicative examples. If you have a very specific example how you want things written, especially in code, that is the best you can give an AI, because then it was just like adapt to your specific needs. Like that's out of experience. And less, you have to test and refine that through several iterations. But be aware, don't make the chats too long. Otherwise, it will cost you tokens, and they will kick you out ASAP. You have a couple of options how to deal with AI, and this is from the normal chat, right? Hey Google, not Google. Hey ChatGPT, I'm looking for something specific in this direction. What could I get? Then you get the answers. Then you choose from these answers, and then just like create a conversational step, right? The other extreme is a mega prompt. Okay, a mega prompt in example ChatGPT has about 8,000 characters limited. And this is a very precise definition of what you want the AI to be and what you want it to do. So if we're talking about the simulation aspect, from which perspective should the task be understood? Okay, so there are two levels here. And this is, you tell the AI what its reference is, and then where you're coming from. For example, right? You are, let's use a football example or cricket example. You are a cricket sport assistant for general or for middle management or something like that, and you are helping to structure some ideas for a presentation, right? That's where the simulation, like this is what the AI is, and then you say, because I am the head coach, or I am just like head of management, and I need a perspective from this very specific line, which you need to simulate to me. And then you say why you want this, what your function is as the head coach or as the guy in management. So the AI gets two references for its simulation where it's coming from. And I guarantee you, the more precise you are in this, the more different your answers will be, what AI is giving you. That's why you always have to be careful how you approach AI as in your prompt specifically. Then give it a very specific task, what's to be done, and structure this. Okay, it's like, what do you need to do? And in this case, just like more in the expectation line of, if it's a presentation, just like find out what is needed for this presentation, or do you have already data which need to be analyzed, or like give it the specific task which needs to be done. Sequence those steps. What are the preconditions? Like now you have to go into history, etc. It's just like where you're coming from. Then the context. You go into a specific focus or consideration from your point of view. And the problem with this kind of perceived redundancy and the communication is that you will never be able to be too precise in communicating what you actually want. Yeah, because I challenge you within 8,000 characters to getting the exact outcome from like you wouldn't get it from a human with 8,000 characters if you try, because communication is that hard. It's like what you got in your head transported into a text, and into a text which I can understand even harder. All right. Then on the goal, it's just like what do you want to achieve, right? Is it a presentation? Is it a 3-page outline for the board of this sports directorship, or what? I have no idea. Like, you have to, but you have to be able to make up your mind. If you're talking about mega prompts, you have to be precise as possible what you want to achieve, and then the format. Is it formally written? Is it informally written? Right? It's just like, should you tell ChatGPT, write me 300 words of something, and it will give you 460, right? And this is already incorrect as it is, but try to say, give me a long text about something. What is long, right? It's just like, I can't deal with 300 words. If it means to just like create 400, it will create 400 just because it does, right? Nobody knows. But a long text is not a long text. How you have to be precise. You have to be absolutely like, how much output do you want? Right. There are different kinds of guidelines, like in the prompt and where you can get your head around. It's not necessarily that you will need them right now, right? Because like you are more there to generate, sometimes to transform some data, right? Transforming if you have already data sets or code which you need transformed into something else, but converse at the beginning, maybe learn. Depends, but don't use ChatGPT to learn. Try Perplexity, okay? But it's you can. This is a structure which is not like cut in stone. Let's say that, right? These are outlines we're working with, which created since a year, which are just rough guidelines of how you could approach this. Okay. There are various guidelines. I gave you one. Check this out. Read through it, just like to get a better understanding. Now, just a couple of quick, very random examples. Assign, like I said, assign a role to the AI. Inaccurate, you're a statistic tutor. Okay. I mean, it is at least you did something. Fair enough. Yeah, better that one than nothing. But better would be, you are a friendly, objective, and patient tutor for a university lecture in statistics. Your job is to help students with it. Okay, you can see how that makes a difference in the
response.
Exactly. So what you should do is actually right now for the homework part, or for next week or something. Today is not homework, yeah, but next week or something. What to help yourself is that because you will have to put that in every time you ask ChatGPT or Perplexity AI, you should like, I am a researcher and you are my assistant, and then you define those roles. All right. And that's like, I need an R script for this, right? So I am a researcher who's got some tasks in R, we have to evaluate something, etc. Always this context will stick with you for the rest of the seminar. So develop that. Make this as soundproof as possible, right? Give it a good sense of simulation. Where is it? Where do you want it to be, right? and then you go from there. Iterations. Right answer.
So just your recommendation. At times, I've only used ChatGPT.
Okay.
But generally, there's another preference of creating a default, which is also in a way a prompt.
Right.
Which is like if normally when I'm writing grant reports, so I specify that as a default.
Right.
So will that help also? Like, do you recommend
Absolutely.
that?
I would recommend this because I think you can't use ChatGPT without signing in, right?
Yeah.
You have to sign in.
Yeah.
There should be, I think they open it now there should be a profile section. Always fill in your profile. So it has the instant of you are a researcher, you do that, that's your background. Yeah. For me,
formal and everything.
Exactly. And even if you then wanted informal, then you put informal in the prompt, but just like for your profile, you just like give it already some directions and it will use it. So that is already. I will cut this short here. The presentations are up. You can have it like your homework would be to go through that, set up that's why I'm closing now because for some questions, all good. And try to create an R project file in your folder. Okay, this is I don't need to see any kind of R file yet. I just want to see that everyone has an R project file. Yeah. Okay, that's it for today. Question 1.
Do you use all these AI tools in the final exam?
Absolutely. I would deduct marks if you don't. I'm joking. I can't force you to use any AI. Okay? But if you don't use any AI, please state it as well so I can mark fairly. I cannot punish you for lesser quality because you don't have access to AI. Okay, and I won't do that. But you have to be marking that. Okay? Other questions?
If I would like to rewatch this lecture, it's recorded, right?
It's recorded. I hope it's still recording.
Yeah.
Okay. And I will upload it to the e-learning platform tomorrow.
Yeah, please, because I was late, so I wanna, yeah.
All good. It's like I said in the beginning, actually, there is no need for you, like I can't make you sit here. I can't force you to attend these lessons. You actually like you can use the video or whatever, just like or communicate with me in some form or with Mabish or Sabir if you have any questions. But yeah, we try to make it every material available we have to enable you to learn independently.
Thank you.
Right. Then thank you for your attention. Looking forward for the next couple of weeks. Any questions, please don't mail me. Mail Mabish. No, I'm joking. Yeah, please come forward. It would be nice if you somehow collect the questions and then we can go through the answers. That would be fantastic. Right. Thank you. Have a good one. See you in 2 weeks.
And on a lighter note, how do you pronounce your name? Is it Hans?
You can call me Hans. All right. It's in German Hannes. Yeah, but Hans is fine. I've been around the world enough to listen to.
Oh, I was
I
thinking
have
you were
difficult names. I tried to pronounce half of your names and I'm just like absolutely done for. No.